Perry Farrell's wife broke her silence after her husband attacked his lead guitarist at a show in Boston, claiming the frontman was upset by being drowned out by his bandmates playing too loudly. Farrell's wife, Etty Lau, took to Instagram to share her husband's side of the story after he was slammed for body checking and punching guitarist Dave Navarro on stage on Friday night. "Rather than speculating, I thought to post a first-person account of what happened on stage," she wrote. Lau said Farrell has been struggling with tinnitus and a sore throat every night that has affected his voice, and he felt that the stage volume had been extremely loud and his voice was being drowned out by the band. Lau said that there had been tension and animosity between the band members, but felt that this was not always a bad thing, as it was also the magic that made the band so dynamic. But on Friday night, Lau said her husband reached breaking point after he was heckled by fans who couldn't hear him. When the audience in the first row, they started complaining up to Perry, cussing at him, that the band was playing too loud and that they couldn't hear him. "Perry lost it," said Lau, a former original member of the Pussycat Dolls when it was a dance troupe. "He wasn't singing, he was screaming just to be heard." Attendees say Farrell appeared to be heavily intoxicated at the Friday night show, with others claiming it was far from an unusual sight for the frontman who is known to down bottles of wine on stage. Fans said tensions began rising during the band's rendition of Mountain's song, and by the time they got to Ocean Size 3 songs later, Farrell was seething. "The band started the song Ocean before Perry was ready and did the count-off," Lau said. "The stage volume was so loud at that point that Perry couldn't hear past the boom and the vibration of the instruments, and by the end of the song, he wasn't singing, he was screaming just to be heard." Lau signed off her Instagram post with a jab at who won the fight, claiming that bassist Eric Avery came out victorious as he aggressively confronted Farrell, while Dave Navarro was keeping Perry at arm's length to de-escalate the situation. Dan Cleary, a band technician, rushed over to de-escalate as well by holding Perry back, Lau wrote. Dave walked away to take his guitar off. Eric walked up to Perry, upstage in the dark, behind Dan, put Perry in a headlock and punched him in the stomach 3 times. Lau said Avery had to be pulled away before the bassist nonchalantly walked off to the front of the stage to apologize to audience for the show ended early. She said while Navarro still looked handsome and cool in the middle of a fight, her husband was a crazed beast in the aftermath of the altercation. He finally did not calm down, but did break down and cried, she said, concluding that Avery didn't understand what de-escalation meant or took advantage of the situation and got in a few cheap shots on Perry. Eyewitnesses said Farrell began shouting at Navarro during Mountain's song, which escalated until they bust up during Ocean Size. Attendees said Farrell had a huge bottle of wine with him all evening. Navarro and Avery kept chatting with each other the whole show and seemed angrier than normal. The show in Boston came a week after the band played 2 sets in New York City as part of a reunion tour after the group got back together for the first time in 14 years earlier this year. On the first night of the New York City shows, Farrell told a crowd at the Pier 17 space that he was not in great shape for the performances, with attendees saying there appeared to be bad blood between the bandmates. Farrell told the crowd, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have to be honest with you. Something's wrong with my voice. I just can't get the notes out all of a sudden." Bassist Eric Avery took to Instagram after the show to speak to fans, saying he was looking forward to getting another crack at this spectacular rooftop venue tonight. "I'm optimistic we will be better." In a review from CL Tampa the week before Friday's outburst, a critic wrote that Farrell struggled and spiraled when the band began playing Mountain's song after chugging from a full bottle of wine. He launched into many nonsensical rants about cow pastures, mushrooms and politics, the review said, and only stopped when Navarro deliberately cranked out a loud, piercing chord on his guitar as almost to silence Farrell and get the show back on track. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more news updates. Hit subscribe for latest news.